A former Walmart CEO warns that this has not happened in over 10 years and that it's probably not a very good sign for what else is to come for the average American consumer.
Consumers' willingness to spend is for the first time in over a decade starting to buckle. Bill Simon is a former Walmart U.S. CEO. He's now on the Darden Restaurants and Hanes Brands board, so he brings a great perspective here. Bill, always good to speak with you. What are you seeing that makes you believe that finally the consumer is going to crack?
Hey, Melissa. Yeah, the consumers had an incredible, really 10, 12-year run as they started this recovery, and the markets were, buoyant, interest rates were low, and money was available. And, we're starting to see this accumulation of, global macroeconomic issues, geopolitical issues, inflation, interest rates, loan repayments. I mean, we've got a really, really contentious election that we're in the middle of. Congress can't pass a budget. They can't even elect a speaker. And I think that sort of pile up wears on the consumer and makes them wary.
Do you guys agree with that? That with everything that's happening all around us, most of us are growing tired, not just with the politics, but with the many issues that we continue to see, not just here at home, but on a global scale? I guess it's easy to see why consumers are starting to buckle once again. There's also a few more things that Simon said that made a lot of sense if we think of where most of us are right now together with what some companies are doing.
I think you can look back to, Walmart's report, last quarterly report, and they talked about a very, very large trade down. And typically what you see during difficult economic times is a trade down from, middle income down to lower income and upper down to middle. And, you're starting to see that, but you also see shifts in things like pack sizes at the beginning of the month versus the end of the month. They buy larger pack sizes in the beginning when they have more cash, and they buy smaller ones at the end of the month. And all that's starting to rear its ugly head. And you can tell even, look at Amazon's, website today, and Walmart says Walmart launched their program. There's a lot of interesting things going on. They usually say 50-inch TV, $199 or something like that. And now they say 50-inch TV, 40% off. And you use percentages when you're not real proud of your price point. I think you've got inflation pushing the relative price points up, so even the retailers are feeling the inflationary push, and so that's going to translate into sort of consumers' acceptance of the prices and what they buy.
And honestly, where is the lie? Consumers just don't have the same firepower as they did a few years ago. And well, inflation has eaten into most of our dollars as it generally just doesn't buy as much as it used to. So here's a question for you guys. Are we now at a point where consumers are just starting to tap out? And by tapping out, I mean like most of us are just accepting the reality that we're in. And if we can't afford to buy something, we just don't buy it. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and pivot to a topic that's been buzzing around recently. The Walmart data breach. Did you guys hear about this? Now, this isn't just some small scale security hiccup. I mean, we're talking about a breach that potentially impacted up to 85,952 individuals. That's huge, guys. Walmart, caught in a cybersecurity attack, found that sensitive consumer data, including protected health information, was accessed by an unauthorized party. Kind of unsettling, right? So imagine your personal information just kind of out there in the hands of who knows who. This kind of thing really hits home the importance of safeguarding our personal information. And speaking of protection, this brings me to something that I personally trust and the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me. In a world where our data seems to be as secure as a screen door on a submarine, Delete Me is kind of like that solid steel door that you really need. Data brokers, as I mentioned before, are these entities that collect and sell your personal information. From your social security number to details about your relatives, they leave no stone unturned. Delete Me steps in as your personal data defender. Their experts remove your information from these data brokers, ensuring it doesn't just get passed around like a hot potato. You give them your details for removal and boom, they get to work scrubbing your digital footprint clean. Within about a week, you get a report detailing all of their ninja moves. And the kicker? They keep at it every 3 months to ensure that your information stays private. Why Delete Me? Well, simple. They're on a mission to put you back in control of your personal information. With top-notch customer support, serious data security, and a focus solely on wiping your PII from the face of the digital world, they're kind of like your personal privacy SWAT team. Now for the cherry on top. Use my special promo code Ron Yates and you'll get a sweet 20% off Delete Me service. Just hit the link in the description down below, punch in the code, and start your journey to reclaiming your online privacy. In times like these, when data breaches like Walmart's are becoming all too common and your personal information is just bouncing around the web like a beach ball at a concert, taking control of your online privacy isn't just smart, but it's crucial. With Delete Me, it's easy, it's effective, and now more affordable with my promo code Ron Yates. So don't wait for the next big data breach headline. Click the link, use the code, and let Delete Me shield your personal information from the prying eyes of data brokers. So stay safe and take control of your digital presence. Remember, your privacy is priceless. Now, if you guys remember, he also talked about global issues, and right now, war is a very hot topic. What's troubling is that Americans are now worried about another world war. Granted, it is trending, which is why the term, "will I get drafted to war," has spiked in search engines to its highest level since Iraq 2007, with many citizens wondering if they're going to be off to war. Now, I'm not going to dwell on that too much, you guys, but you see the amount of uncertainty out there, right? And speaking of uncertainty, we may see even more of that with the labor market, as American workers should expect a layoff or two. A Smithfield packaged meat plant has just announced that they're planning to let go more than 100 of their workers. Now, what makes this particular update even that much more insane is that they only have 107 workers in the plant. So yeah, they're basically looking to get rid of the entire place. The same company has so far had to file 89 layoff notices, which ultimately affected around 7,700 people. It's just unbelievable, guys. But don't worry, we're all doing good, right? Meanwhile, we got folks who know they're going to be unemployed in the beginning of 2024. But you know what is worrying? The latest price producer index, where some geniuses expected a 0.3% increase, but instead got 0.5%.
It's our September read on the wholesale side of prices in the form of the producer price index. September read on headline month over month expected up 0.3% is up 0.5%. Up 0.5%. That follows a yet unrevised up 0.7, which was the highest going all the way back in terms of month over month change to June of 22. Strip out the all-important food and energy component. We're up 0.3, a little hotter than the 0.2 we were expecting. Up 0.3 versus last month, up 0.2. But the previous month, July, was up 0.4%. Strip out food, trade, and energy, up 0.2 as expected, following up 0.3. Now, the year-over-year numbers on final demand, which is basically the year-over-year headline, up 2.2%. Last look was up 1.6 is what we expected. Again, up 2.2 is the highest since April when we were up 2.3%. The sad part here is in June of this year, we were only up 0.1%. That was the lowest year over year since August of 2020. So we've definitely accelerated there a bit. Strip out food and energy year over year, up 2.7%. That's also the hottest since May when it was up 2.8. And finally, subtract food, energy, and trade, up 2.8%. That is the only one that's cooler than its last look, which was 3%.
So, in a nutshell, why do they keep talking about food and energy? I mean, that's laughable, right? They keep taking out stuff that we continually use and purchase every single day just so that their numbers could look a little bit better. But even with all that, it still looks awful. So, here's my question through all of this. Given that numbers for inflation remain sticky as all heck, how many years is it going to take for our country to get to that 2% inflation? You know, I'm really starting to think that there are plenty of us who may never see that again, especially as some critics are expecting the federal government to pretty much just kind of go crazy with sending money overseas again. But I guess that's still up for debate, right? Well, we'll wait and see what happens, but if that scenario does pop up, you'll know where you heard it first. So what are you guys' thoughts on all this? Make sure you guys let me know down in the comments down below. Don't forget to protect you and your family's personal information by hitting the link in the description down below for Delete Me, and use promo code Ron Yates to get 20% off. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.